Yep. Oh shit. All right. Well, that's a perfect introduction to start off with. This is Danny Quest, guys. I'm here with my man Jeffrey Phillips. We are old school. We are change fame here. We both moved on to greener pastures. We're doing big things, man. How you doing tonight, Jeff?
Pretty good, man.
Awesome,
It's been a
brother.
while.
Yeah,
Glad you dropped off. Sure.
I'm glad to have you on, man. It has been a while. I see you've been up to big things, man. Calling in Dr. Drew. That was interesting.
Yeah, that was funny. Um, I had a customer who was a local radio show, like K-Rock radio personality, and he did Loveline for a while with Drew. And they have like a local LA KABC conservative political talk show for 3 hours a day together, and it's some really wretched crap. Like, it's some of the most it's like the epitome of statist conservative two-party paradigm, just everything. And both these dudes are talking about how libertarian they are the whole time. It's utterly insane. Like the videos I made, that was just like that was 2 days consecutive that I was just like, oh, I can't even listen to this. Like, every time I listen, I want to call in about 10 different things, because like Drew's just like, I mean, the 2 times I called in, I just called him out to see if he really knew what he was talking about, and he had no clue. Like,
Zero
no
clue.
clue. And then the thing about Palestine, he just sidestepped it, like, oh, you just asked me this, and you just asked me this, and I'm just going to waste the 2 minutes that we had
That's what they're trained to do, man.
Stuff.
I think that's what they're trained to do. I think all of the people on TV
pros. They are pros.
They're deflectors. That's what they do.
Guys,
What did he say? He said all smart people know that the Federal Reserve is the right thing. I'm about shit. I was like, all right, that's enough, Dr. Drew, for today.
like, how is that possible when, since the dawn of the Federal Reserve, they've printed our money into worthlessness?
Into
Like,
worthlessness.
oh,
yeah, he's a fucking buffoon.
You know, this guy's doing a good job up there. Like, dude, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
The most popular thing Dr. Drew's done in the last 2 years was a 13-year-old ratchet bitch. So, I mean, he's not.
Yeah.
I don't give any credence to the mainstream media, really any of them. I don't watch that stuff, but it's always fun to troll them when we can. That's what I enjoy about it.
And this is like any of us. Like, this is what kind of this is a big part of the Patreon I'm putting together, is where I'm gonna be, finding these shows with these open phone lines and calling in and saying epic shit, like practicing the fine art of answering the question you wished you were asked.
It's just skill
and just say a bunch of rad shit that stumps everyone, and that's, I mean, it's so easy to do. Like, these they're dying for people to call in and say that these really retarded ideas that they just keep regurgitating on these shows. But dude, my customer doesn't have a Facebook. I don't think they're allowed Facebooks, because they're radio and they're mainstream news, and they are so anti-internet. I can't even believe it. All day on this show, they talk shit about Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and talk shit about people on the internet, and say fake news this, fake news that, fake news this, fake news that. It's absolutely insane, dude.
Well,
it's really funny, because it shows how scared they are, and it shows how good we're doing at dominating the free market of the internet. Because they're literally to the point of just slandering people. Like slandering, and then they're slandering their own listeners, because all the listeners to their show on the radio, when they're in their car listening to the radio, those people are all on the internet. And when you're talking shit multiple times a day about people who are on the internet or get their news from the internet, that's alienating your people. And it's funny, because every time I've called in, I've gotten through. I've called a bunch of times, and they're dying for people to call in. So, it's super funny because they cut up the show and they put it on their website afterwards, and they always leave me out. So I'm trying to, again, Drew has a show with Adam Carolla that's a web-based web show podcast where they take callers that has like millions of followers. This local LA radio show, just has a bunch of zombies in their cars in traffic, in LA. But I'm just going to start seeking out these open air caller shows and calling in and just like dropping bombs on fools. Like, it's funny.
I like
but
it.
No one seems to be doing much. It's weird. Or no, I would think there'd be like 150 Adam Kokesh copycats, making street videos and.
No, I wish, man. I wish there was more of us, brother. I really, really do. The idea is to inspire more people. But I mean, we're up against the world, man. We're facing totalitarian government and corrupt politicians and entrenched institutions. So it's not. People know what they're signing up for when you get into this activist game, and I mean, we're winning though. Yeah, just the few 30 of us or 25, however many of us are out here. Maybe
I think it's like 600.
Well, in my little social circle.
You lost a couple in the last election, though.
Yeah, we've lost a good couple activists along the way too, man. Both to jail and early death and stuff like that, but. We're against all odds, against the algorithms, against the blacklisting, against the fake news invasion, against everything that they've put against us. Our numbers are still growing. We're still, and we were talking about this on Anti-Media Radio, me and Nick. As the boomers die off, and no offense to the boomers, but they don't get it. They're programmed to watch TV and absorb that trash media and believe that shit. And as soon as their generation starts to literally die off, our generation will have more of a foothold on the population.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then our kids are going to.
Then our kids are.
It's just our kids aren't going to put up with half this stuff.
Nope.
Because they'll be up us, not the old boomers that are still sheep.
Dude, there's real life, and I've met some of them, like indigo kids. I guess that's what they're called, indigo kids. 12, 13-year-old kids, 11-year-old kids that just get it, right? They're out there on the fucking playground on their soapbox talking about shit we need to change, and they've been through the awakening process and the YouTube, the YouTube dark holes.
I remember thinking all this stuff, but not acting on it, or not having the ability to act on it, or something, or just not having the environment to act on it. I remember questioning all the society's ridiculous, backwards things growing up. But yeah, if you need to be able to communicate it,
I think that's the difference. Hilarious. I knew things were like fucked up in the sense of like I never had any trust in the system, I never had any trust in authority, and I think that led to like an intense rebellious nature where I didn't pay attention in school, I just slacked off, and I didn't really care because I was, one, smarter than everybody else, I didn't really need school like that, and two, I just knew in my gut that school was just trying to teach me how to behave. It wasn't trying to really teach me any fundamental knowledge about anything. All it wanted to teach me was to get a job or to, obey authority, and I wasn't about it from an early age. It wasn't until later that I got the knowledge to, put that skepticism into work.
Yep. Yeah.
Yup, so we're putting our collective heads together though, man. Lots of things going on. We're trying to stop the war on Syria, the war on North Korea, the ratchet up of World War III. How do you feel about that, Jeff? You got anything to say about all the recent events this past week as far as geopolitical events?
Well, it's history repeating itself again. It's nothing we didn't see coming. It's all part of the Zionist agenda that we've known about, that we've learned about over the past, however so long. And it's funny seeing everyone react to it. incorrectly, and it's funny seeing all the propaganda and bullshit around it. I don't know. It's just funny to see, the administration's changed, but the foreign policy stays the same. It's all BS. The bankers run everything. There's no, Trump's not going to save the world. Trump's going to do the same shit that everybody's been doing for the past freaking 200 years, whatever. Syria has been absolutely freaking obliterated. Like, that place has been at war for several years now, and their shit is brutal going on over there. Have you watched any of that stuff? Like, Lively? Holy shit.
No, I don't go on Lively. I can't pollute my mind with that stuff, man. Oh.
Yeah. There's been horrible shit going on there for a long time. And it's just, it's a stack of dominoes, knocking them all out. What is it, 7 countries in 5 years, or vice versa, or something. Knew this was going to happen.
Yep.
They're sending tactical groups to North Korea.
I think all that's just...
It's about the banks.
I don't think the North Korea stuff's going to manifest into anything larger, but there's definitely, the war drums are beating. America, there's a lot of posturing going on, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Just today, what did they drop well, I mean, this is just how the media works, right? The largest bomb besides a nuclear bomb was dropped today. All dramatic bomb. This fucking people, man. It's all theater.
America!
Yeah, it's all theater, dude. We dropped the largest bomb. Yeah, we dropped the largest bomb on a bunch of caves. A bunch of caves with no people on it. We dropped a multi-million-dollar bomb on the middle of nowhere just to prove a point.
So far, we've spent $500-600 million to blow up a bunch of fucking sand in the desert in the Middle East. Yeah. Literally. Like, insane. Like, actually, but everyone's like, oh, those missiles are 1.5 million a piece, and it's like, no. What about the logistics of getting them there? Like, fighter groups and shit, like, that shit adds up, like, way more than the individual price
gasoline and oil for a super fucking ship. Yeah. It's ridiculous, man. It really is ridiculous. I don't think I said this in this conversation, but I know we were talking earlier, man, and I'm a tax resistor. I'm going to resist paying taxes in this government. I mean, I'm poor, man. If they fuck with me, they're just like picking on a poor person at this point. But if I was to make enough money in my career for the IRS or federal government or whoever wants to come pester me for a percentage, I'm taking it to court, and I'm going to tell them straight up, I'm not supporting terrorism. Like, there's laws against funding terrorists in this country. So how can you place a law against funding terrorists and say there's a law that I must fund terrorists? Like, it's an oxymoron. And I think I got them by the balls. I'm willing to fight that out in court.
Yeah. Well, we'll be there backing you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It ain't going to get that far, though, because I use Bitcoin and Dash and shit.
Yeah.
I
was interesting to see Bitcoin got back up again.
The end goal is to not use Federal Reserve.
I got some money. I didn't realize I have some money. That's crazy.
Yeah, the smart.
My coin.
The smart thing right now is to get into the smaller, smaller digital currencies.
A lot of Bitcoins with the smaller cryptocurrency trading. Right. I did that shit for a long time, and I was up. I made some decent money doing it, and I lost it all. And then I had like literally half of a coin left, and I built it up to like 2 coins over the last couple of years, just like slowly on things that I know are doing pretty well. But it's it's one of those things where you'll get into it and you'll be like, okay, I'm obsessed. I'm staying up 24/7, and then you're just like, holy shit, like then when you do finally sleep, you lose some coins somewhere and you freak out and get pissed off, and it's a stressful a stressful hobby.
Just like playing penny stocks, really, or investing in anything that has a high variant
it took up a lot. It was just like mining for coins, because when you mine, you kind of have to be sitting there at the computers for most of the time, because at least the Bitcoin miners that I dealt with of yesteryear, they kick themselves off every once in a while, like stuff like that. You kind of have to sit there and be looking at the pools and doing all this stuff. So it becomes like a full-time job that you aren't really getting that paid well at, like kind of stressing you out. I think holding on to Bitcoin right now is probably, I just can't imagine it going back down. I just think it's going to keep going up, and there aren't any really great coins that have popped up that are even giving it a run for its money. So, I don't know. Maybe things have changed, but I used to be pretty into Bitcoin, and I lost it all and then got out of it. But there was someone, when I worked for Adam, I was kind of doing a lot of Bitcoin stuff on his page and whatever, and one of the We Are Change, like Denver or something, dude had like 12 coins donated and lost them. And I was trying to help him get them back. He had them on a cell phone and he lost the cell phone. He was like, how do I get them back? And I'm like, bro. It was like 17 coins, I think. He had a bunch of coins, and it was at like $1,200, and he was like losing his shit. He was like, there's no way I could get them back. I'm like, you didn't have them backed up on anything else? And he was like, no, they were just on my phone. And I was like, oh my God, dude. Jesus.
I guess that's the inherent danger. That's also the, experience. You wouldn't do that if you knew better.
The statistics of it that's holding it back right now, it's a bummer having to deal with wallets and possibly losing your stuff if you don't have it backed up, and it's not as easy as just a credit card.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The Silk Road bust. Didn't the Silk Road bust got tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Bitcoin, correct?
Yeah, they auctioned it off, and a bunch of people from China bought it. Remember there was all that conspiracy, or there was all that controversy because some FBI agents stole a bunch of coin because they were like, holy shit, but they didn't get away with it. And then they auctioned it off for like, Bitcoin had dropped, which was funny. So it went back down to like 280 or something by the time the FBI auctioned it off. And so I think like 3 different parties bought like the millions of coins that were in there or something, and they were mostly Chinese. China's all over Bitcoin. Apparently, Subway sandwiches in Russia, and in Russia, there's a lot of places that take it. It's definitely slowly picking up speed here.
What was all the rage down in Mexico this year? Down in Acapulco, they're all big Bitcoin people. They're swearing by digital currencies now, cryptocurrencies.
Yeah. It gets pretty boring after a while. Like talking about Bitcoin all the time.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that there's like a little bit of innovation, but it's like, I don't know, it's like talking about chemtrails all day. It's like at a certain point you run out of information. And all these people are talking about it and not using it as much, or talking to others about it and talking amongst themselves. Infield baseball is rampant within this movement. Everybody educating people that are already educated. So, yeah, I mean, I'm all about outreach, especially from now on. Just like, not trying to like. I mean, like, I've never been to any of like the big libertarian meetups or anything like that. Anarcho-Poco sounds kind of fun, but at the same time, it kind of sounds like something I'd go to and probably have a hard time not judging everyone. Like, I don't know. I'd rather, go out in the streets and make a video or something than, have these strange popularity contests, get-togethers.
Yeah, it is it's a social game. My thing with Bitcoin, well, really with any digital currency, and a lot of what I've been doing lately is working with like John Vodge and Derek and Jeffrey and people that are more in like the libertarian left or the agorist. We're all have a kind of firm, consistent philosophy, and one of the primary.
Libertarian left.
I mean, I don't know what to call it. What do you call us? Like, we're definitely not. I don't know. We've been talking about this. Like, this is an interesting conversation to have too. And we still have some time. Is the dissection of the libertarian movement, because there has been a lot of, I guess it's a resurgence now post-Trump, but a separation to the libertarian left, the libertarian right, the socialist libertarians, and cap libertarians. And you see all these little checkerboards on Facebook, and they're like, what side are you on? You know what I'm saying? Like, what part of the coordinates do you lie? Over here, you down here, where are you at? Somewhere. I don't really deal with that shit, man. I try not to.
We're brought up in a divisive system, and so people just want to always be divisive and try and separate themselves from other people and get all obsessed about that stuff when, really at the end of the day, we just want to be left alone. And if we focus on that, we probably get a lot more accomplished than debating all day online about who's more anarchist or libertarian or who's just a, whatever.
Libertarians that want to build walls don't make sense to me. I hope they watch this. Any of you, if you think you're a libertarian and you want to build a wall, that's not liberty. That is the opposite of liberty. Walls can keep you in just as easy as they can keep other people out. You're asking for your own enslavement. You're welcome.
Remember Pastor Grayson, the black dude who would like make videos during Ron Paul's second run?
No.
Derek Grayson, I think. He would make like rant videos while he's driving, but he was like pretty decent rhetoric. He said something. He was saying something about oh, we need borders and all this stuff, and I called him out, and like he went on this crazy 10-paragraph rant about like how we need to have borders and all this stuff. It was super funny. I totally trolled him. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Everyone went retarded, or everyone just got paid. I mean, you were there. Remember, it was like there was 1 month where all of a sudden everyone went full anti-Muslim, pro-Trump. All indie media, freaking We Are Change included. Stefan Molyneux, Alex Jones, freaking Cantwell, everyone went during the same month. It was as if someone was making a phone call going, hey, how much do you want? Change your fucking, change what you're talking about. Here's some money, or, it's almost as if someone was just like paying everyone off. It was crazy. And then I was like, I lost all, it just went crazy. Everybody went retarded. I felt like there were lots of libertarians before, but I don't anymore.
I'll be honest, Jeff. One of the reasons why I've stayed so close to you, friend, and one of the reasons why you were one of the first people I reached out to do these podcasts was because of your consistency. I totally admire your consistency and your integrity and the things that beat the popularity contest, right? So if we want to talk about, we're all in this big fucking corporate popularity contest in the activist community, it's much more important in my eyes to be consistent in your ideas. And that's what's going to give us strength. The most consistent people in this business are going to last the longest, and I can promise you that because I've already seen people lose their consistency and fall off. When you start switching, oh, we're going to support Donald Trump, he's the savior. Oh, let's impeach Donald Trump. You're whack, dude. It's whack. And I'm not calling any particular people out.
You can't. After Ron Paul 2012, after what happened to him, you can't call yourself libertarian or any stuff like this if you still believe in that system. Like, it's just, I mean, that whole thing is just utterly ridiculous. But, I mean, thank you for the compliment. It was, I mean, I can't go back on this stuff. Like, I just can't. And I have kids. I don't know if it's because I have kids that motivates me to keep going. But I don't want my kids to have to deal with all this shit. Oh, which leads me to another thing. Holy shit. So have you looked at any of the SpaceX hoax or Elon Musk hoax stuff?
In regards to what? No, please. Let me know.
It's all fake, bro. It's all fake. He's an actor. All the videos of the rockets are all fake. They're all CGI.
Really?
Tesla is a just crap company based off of hype. You know how they just became the world's most valuable car company? It's all hype. It's not because they're making money. They don't make money. It's all just because of hype, of how, of the government forcing them on everyone's throats.
I understand that.
So, I mean, okay, so Tesla was started with government money. The company's not making money. Tesla, Solar City, and SpaceX are government money. Like, he borrowed money from the government. All these libertarians hold this guy up like he's some massive libertarian. So he got money from the government, which is our money, to start a car company for rich people. These cars also get state credits for being clean cars. These cars have a carbon footprint 50 times more than any normal car. There's nothing clean about a fucking Tesla.
He's got to be getting international money too.
So we're giving tax credit. Okay, so they stole our money to build fancy cars for rich people. Rich people are getting the tax credits from buying the fancy cars. So we basically bought rich people cars through space or through Tesla's. How it came to be. Tax dollars went towards buying fancy cars for rich people. Solar City is a joke. It's never going to make money. SpaceX is an absolute hoax. It's an absolute bottom to top bullshit. Bet my life on it. Bullshit. All of it is bullshit. Just do research. Trust me, just go do research.
I don't believe shit anyways, trust me.
Elon Musk hoax, any of this shit. There's a guy, I posted a couple videos on my page on Facebook. There's a guy, Lift the Veil. There's a couple dudes that have some epic videos. Dude, it's bullshit. I have a buddy of mine who actually was a guy who got me into libertarianism, and actually the guy who introduced me to Adam. It's funny, he's super into like EDM music, and like Skrillex is his like favorite guy in the world, and Skrillex is like one of my little best friends. And so I told him, I was like, hey, if you introduce me to Adam, I'll introduce you to Skrillex, and both of us did it. It was super funny. But anyway, so my friend Stanton is a fanboy to the max, Elon Musk fanboy. But my friend Stanton fancies himself an anarchist libertarian. He's like hook, line, and sinker to all this stuff, and that's what I'm doing. One of my 10-minute debates with him. I'm going to do 1 minute on each one. There's also, I don't know if you heard about, Elon Musk has designed a hyperrail system for California. It's a train that goes like, it's a tube that is a vacuum, just like space, and you fly in a ship in the tube to San Francisco in 45 minutes, right? An airplane flight to San Francisco takes 55 minutes. Basically, this guy wants to bring all the complications with flying in space, well, there is no space, but down to Earth, and fly people at 1,200 miles an hour in a tube that if you shot it with a .22 caliber rifle, the entire system would explode. It would be the most dangerous form of transportation on the planet, this hyperrail Elon Musk designed with all of his scientists. And like, this dude isn't a rocket scientist. He like had part in eBay. Like, he's not, and everyone in his company are his relatives. Like, these aren't smart people. These aren't people who design rockets and fly them to fucking space 15 times a year. Like, it's absolute all bullshit. The footage they have of all the stuff landing and everything, it's always from like 10 miles away. Like, dude's got trillions of dollars. Buy a fucking GoPro, put it on the fucking rocket. Like, this stuff just, there are way too many things that don't make any sense. And if you know about NASA and the agenda behind NASA and the agenda behind all the space stuff, SpaceX is just a continuation of all, it's the young, hip, hipster, cool version of NASA that's going to keep everyone paying taxes for the next 100 years, because old NASA got too boring. Like, that space shuttle, that thing didn't go to space. Like,
no.
So look at,
that's why I'm not going to argue with
the
you.
old space shuttle and to be, oh yeah, I went to space and back a bunch of times. Yeah, fucking right. They had to get rid of it because it wasn't believable anymore. All of NASA wasn't believable anymore. Therefore, they have SpaceX now. And like, if we're doing these things that are like the most revolutionary things to happen space-wise in fucking 50 years, why aren't like the media at any of these events? And why aren't there like people, normal people, shooting the fucking things, that show up to watch the rockets go off? No one's filming it? Like, no one that works for SpaceX is filming it? Why would they only put out grainy shit, like grainy shit from a mile away? Or the right when it lands, there'll be a glitch and like the camera will shut off and then it'll pop back on again. Like, there's so much bullshit, dude. It's one of the biggest fucking lies that's being fed to the world right now is this Elon Musk guy. And you'll see they use him to push agenda.
Yeah.
They use his words. They say, oh, Elon Musk's opinion on this, like, da-da-da-da-da. He's just that smart guy that everybody fell in love with, that they're going to believe anything out of his fucking mouth, and he's just it's like Stephen Hawking.
They took the words out of my mouth.
Have you been down that rabbit hole?
I'm already hip.
Double.
And to anybody...
Allegedly, Stephen Hawkins died, and they replaced him with another guy that's fucked up looking, so they can keep his, because he's such a good propaganda tool, they can keep his character going.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because people are just like, oh, he's a scientist, and they'll believe anything he says. But Elon Musk is a fucking businessman. Like, he's not a fucking rocket scientist. And he's a fake. He's a fucking actor. Like, he's not even anything. He's an actor. Just like every other NASA or all these people are actors. It's super funny.
Well, they could also be, I mean, and I'm not joking when I say this, I'm being pretty as serious as you are. They could be real. They could be the body doubles of underground reptilian ultra-terrestrials. Have you ever went down? I mean, nobody's ever disproved the real theory.
lesbian, shape-shifting, reptilian.
No, I'm being dead serious. VRILL. Look up the Vril Society. They're extraterrestrial, ultra-terrestrial beings that live under the earth, and they can use a proboscis to put their consciousness into earth beings and essentially take over them. And that's how they control the earth. Through these avatars, through earth, human avatars.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, without a doubt, when you dive into the rabbit hole really, really deep, the people that run this planet are either, what's the word? Like demons? You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
Negative entities.
Right, like an entity. You know what I mean? Or they're an extraterrestrial, like they're aliens, like actually from another planet. There's an extraterrestrial entity that's controlling this planet. So they're either like ghosts, aliens, or something that's parasitic, like a legitimate parasitic virus, like I'm talking about, like an underground reptilian creature that can take over people's minds and control them. And because we're not dealing with humans at the top. We're not. There's no way. When you get into the higher levels of the occult, when you get into some of the black magic stuff and some of the not Luciferian, satanic, Illuminati, 9/11 level dark magic shit.
Yeah.
It's not. They're not normal people, and they're not. There's something going on that we're not being told, and I'm so much of a skeptic. I don't believe anything, dude. Like I don't. If I can't touch it, taste it, or fuck it, I don't believe it.
Yeah, they're evolving away from us, and that's the missing link. Is these people have lived for millennia, living different lives than us, and they're naturally evolving away from us, and they don't care like we do. They're just evil because they've gotten used to what they're doing. It's the same thing with the Rothschilds and all those guys. Like they don't care that they're holding the world. The world is miserable. Basically, the people that don't think they're miserable don't realize that they're miserable. Like everyone's miserable, and it's all up to them. They could have conditions here be far better. And just take a little less profit, but they're used to the game, and they've been used to the game for so many generations that they don't think like us anymore. They're different species, but it's all pretty interesting stuff.
Definitely, and look no farther. Like if anybody's watching this later on, and you see this on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, and you think we're talking about bullshit, look up the Columbia disaster of the late 90s. Like, all those people, like, they fed this story to the world that Columbia blew up, and we gotta feel sorry for them, and all these people are still alive. Like, they have the same names and shit. Some of them are their twin and brothers and sisters with, like, it's such a sad, miserable, pathetic fucking lie that these baby boomers get tricked with over and over and over again. And I mean, I feel like
the video of what's his name? Oh, which astronaut?
Buzz
He was
Aldrin.
like, not Yeager, but the one that went to the moon. Or the Apollo 13, the three guys that went around and... Or wait, which one was it? Oh, I can't think of it. Anyway, he had been like in hiding for the last 30 years, and he came out to some NASA event to do some speech, and he was like talking to all these kids and like telling a speech to all these kids, and he was telling them to like peel back layers of truth, and he started crying.
Like, real cryptic and shit. I've seen that. I also...
Like he couldn't say it, but he was trying to say it as much as possible, but it's all bullshit. And then if you go back and look at the footage of when they came back, they interviewed these guys, and these guys were not acting like they were just in space. Like, they were acting like they were just told that they had to go convince the world that they had just been, to space. And all that, I mean, the NASA hoax stuff is really fucking interesting to me. Like, this stuff is just, it's so interesting. And it's so, like, down to the first, the moonwalk, like, they shot it on film so no one could really have a good piece of footage so they can analyze it, and they lost all the footage or recorded over it or some stuff. Like, it's just too funny.
They lost the telemetry data. Like, the moon landings obnoxiously simply
in
easy to.
in LA, there's a lot of NASA stuff in LA, a lot of SpaceX stuff in LA. And it's funny, whenever you drive through big cities, there's always NASA and SpaceX shit right by the freeway for some reason. You know, so you see it and you're like, ooh, yeah, that's where my tax dollars are going. You know, like,
Well, that's what
right.
NASA is.
NASA spent $1 trillion since they put a man on the moon, and they've done nothing. Like, they've done nothing but show us videos of people in fucking space in scuba tanks in the water. It's super
Hanging
it's
from
such
wires
funny.
and shit.
Yeah, and it makes so when you think about how easy it is to pull off something like that, I mean, it's just ridiculous. You find, you know, the extremists of any group, and you approach those extremists and you tell them, hey, we're going to give you money for the rest of your life, but guess what? You're going to have to do this crazy shit. You know, you're going to have to be a part of this group, and if you ever say or do anything, you're fucking dead, but, you know, you'll be rich the rest of your life, and that's how they get these astronauts to do all these videos.
Or
and
crisis actors.
you'll see there,
You know? Crisis actors are the same thing.
all the weird, creepy Freemason stuff in the NASA shit, like SpaceX too. Elon Musk does all that stuff, all those hand gestures and all that weird, you know, all that weird stuff is in there.
Esoteric stuff. You're right. I'm gonna look more into it. I've been trying to more stay focused on solutions recently. I was writing a little bit of geopolitical stuff for the Fifth Column, but I've really been focused on solutions through agorism, through activism, trying to avoid thinking about the war and terrorism and all that stuff as much as possible. But it's there's definitely a lot of interesting paths to take in this big rabbit hole that we have, that we call Earth, that we call this experience that we're having. You know, we're all having this experience together and figuring it out. But I'm optimistic. I think I'm one of the few people who I know right now that are actually legitimately optimistic about where we're headed as a society.
I'm too. I totally am. It's strange. It's a strange feeling, but I'm super interested to see what happens in the next couple of years. I'm super motivated to go out and do stuff. I don't know. It should be interesting to see, you know, where things head after this, because they're obviously going down the same direction we always knew they were going to go.
Right.
That's like,
I see a lot
this whole time, the whole election, we were like, it's not going to fucking change. It's not going to change. No, nothing's going to change. Oh, Trump's the less war candidate. You know, yeah, right. Like, I don't think so.
I see a lot of I told you so's in our future.
What better guy to get them going again? You know, to get the wars going again, get the bombs dropping again. What better dude to do it than that douchebag?
I was reading an
But
article.
now it's like, well, you know, obviously things aren't going to change, so we need to dig in and really start doing some outreach, because there's a lot of people within the paradigm that are looking to get out of it, because it's just too much at this point. You know, that people do get fed up at one point. Like, it's pretty fucked up. But I mean, look at how much the internet's helped. Oh my God! Like, did you even hear of anything happening in Palestine fucking 5 years ago? Now it's like, you know, everyone loved Israel a couple of years ago, and now with all even before Ron Paul ran in 2012, there was nothing anti-Israel on the internet. Nothing. Now it's like they're getting browbeaten everywhere they turn because of Palestine. Like, the internet's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's still somewhat, I mean, like you said, there's still an algorithm and stuff, but we still, you know, like I was saying about the guys, the KBC guys, like, they hate the internet because we're winning with it. Like, they haven't been able to control it. It's an amazing thing. But with all this fake news shit, I keep seeing on Facebook, I got a little thing pop up that said, you know, oh, we've gotten reports that this article might be fake news, you know, like da-da-da-da-da, like, holy shit, like, they're really pushing that fake news propaganda campaign. Like, no one said that stuff before. That's the next one I'm going to call into Dr. Drew, because they say that shit all the time. and they're all anti-feminist, you know, like da-da-da-da-da, like, oh, you need to research and you need to listen to, like, you know, qualified journalists and shit. The girl who started the fake news thing was like an assistant nothing and was a super like social justice warrior feminist, and you know, like, you're promoting her ideas every time you say fake news on your show, you guys, you freaking knuckleheads. Like, these guys are a crack up. But yeah, it's crazy.
I read one of them fake news things in the very beginning. It's probably the one you're talking about. It was like the Harvard Review or Yale Review or some kind of peer review paper, and it had James Corbett and Carrie Wedler on it. And I was like,
oh, there were a bunch of people on it, yeah. They had, I mean, Free Thought Project, like, all kinds of people were on there. And it's like, wow, they're literally scared shitless of us. Like, it's literally just, like, they wrote an article about my 30 friends' freaking news outlets that we do out of our fucking mom's basements. They're scared of us. Like, they're actually scared of us to the point where they started a new propaganda term, just like conspiracy theorist.
You're right.
Fake news is a absolute fabricated and intended propaganda term that is being used very fucking well, and it is to destroy independent media and freedom-based stuff. Like, it's crazy. Like, I can't believe how wildfire everyone says fake news as if they've been saying it for 20 years these days. Like, that shit fucking popped up real quick, and it's scary.
They never
There's
called...
no such thing as fake news. It's like saying fake art. Like, something is news to anyone. Like, it's all, you know, it's like, oh, who's truth? Like, oh, it's the truth. Who's truth? Like, everything's different. Like, that doesn't make sense. But, you know, oh, everything that's, you know, anything that's not on mainstream news is fake. That makes a lot of sense. It's super funny.
Well, they've had tabloids forever. You know what I'm saying? That was a meme I made when they first started the fake news stuff. Is I had all the tabloids, the Esquire and the Extra, and all those type of Bill Clinton had sex with this woman, and you know, fucking. They were never called fake news. They were just the tabloids, right? Yeah. It wasn't. They didn't come up with the term fake news until people like us started putting out real information. You know, and that's a perfect. That's a perfect, you know, symbol right there.
It is. It's exactly what happened.
And it also is like you call people fake news without pointing out something that they did was fake. Like, that's not that. That's
the whole thing. When I call into Drew and them, I'm just gonna have like. I'm going to drop like 16 tons of bombs on them. They're not even going to know what to say.
You're going to drop one of them Donald Trump-sized bombs on them.
Not giving examples and reasons for these outlets being fake is in itself fake news. Like, this person is a bad journalist who did this.
That's the truth.
You are spreading her bad journalism by using her term she coined. Like, absurd.
Jeffrey's out there dropping the mother of all bombs on Donald Drew. The Moabs. We out here dropping the Moabs. All right, well, we only got about 10 minutes left, man. I want to do 1 hour. What are you doing as far as outreach now, man? I know you said you're gonna do the you're calling in these places and giving them a hard time. I see you got the studio set up. You're gonna start doing some more video work, I guess, some rants, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna start blogging a little bit more. I'm gonna start doing more. Getting in contact with other people in our group and trying to join forces with some other people. Going to be going to more actions. Making a lot of like top 5 videos, like doing just going to be promoting a Patreon and just putting a ton of content on it as much as I possibly can, because I've been, like, literally, I used to do a couple videos a week, and then I started working for Adam, and then, you know, everything got, switched to him, and then after him, I was working for Weird Change. Like, I hadn't made a video. That Drew video was the first video I've made in like 3 years. Like,
yeah, I noticed you're picking up though, man.
I made it in like 5 minutes, with like whatever was cameras in front of me, and like that's the kind of thing with vlogging and with making content. You just gotta start shooting everything and not fucking care what you look like, and not care what you sound like, not care that you don't have the fucking best camera in the world. And just shoot everything and try and make a video every day, whether you put it up or not. But just do it. Like I was always worried because shaky camera quality. So I have the bombest fucking vlogging camera in the world. Like, dude, this thing, I strapped it into my backpack, into my seat of my car, with just the tripod sticking out. It was wobbling like this, and I made a video, and it's like perfectly smooth. Like, these cameras are dope. I'm trying. They're fucking rad. And it's just the audio's not great, so you have to use external audio, which is the one bummer. And it takes like, you have to set it up. It takes like a minute and a half to set up. You can't just boom, like, I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, I'm just gonna be making a lot more videos.
Where can we find your work at, man? Anybody's watching this video, my followers who might not be familiar with where you're at.
Facebook.com/Jeffrey Phillips and Facebook.com/the Phillips. I just hit like 1.4 post reach, 1.4 million post reach on Facebook. With like 5,000 people. I don't know, Facebook, it seems like the algorithm's gotten a lot easier in the last year, with some next level shit, and that's almost at 60,000. Like, that looks like the algorithm's gotten really friendly. Like, it used to just be impossible, but consistency, like you were saying earlier, consistency on Facebook and consistency on YouTube and those things, that's how you get somewhere. That's how these things work, is just sticking to it.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt, that's definitely been at the forefront of my activism and my career so far in independent media has been my integrity. It's been my principles. That's why I left We Are Change. That's why I continue to be independent now. That's why my website it's not all tag written up. It's why I continue to write every day, even though I'm not making really shit off of it. But I just write because I care about what I'm doing. We all have a purpose. I talk often about this symbiotic relationship. Like, in spiritual terms, they say the earth was a living organism. We were its cells, and the internet was its brain. It's really just we're like its defense system in a way. We're like the immune system for the earth, and it's just using us. It's bringing us together through this kymatica, this synchronicity that's happening in life that's bringing us together. And I really feel like we're on the verge of something magnificent that's like a new renaissance. And I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. But I kind of look forward I look forward to it, dude. Like, who goes to war? Not anarchists. Statists go to war. And they fight for their state-ass country. And what happens when they lose that war? Their state loses. So we stand to win from World War III. None of us are going to fight for this fucking country. The country's going to blow itself up, and we're just going to collect all the fucking spoils.
Yeah. It's true. So, what do you do next?
I don't know. That's about it.
Did you go down to Texas?
Yeah, I didn't go to Texas for the community, but I went to Philadelphia recently for Free Your Mind 5, which was pretty good. I had a lot of fun there. Next time I'm going to be on the West Coast, is Jackalope. I'm coming to Jackalope in, is it August or July?
Maybe I'll be there. Maybe we'll have to meet up, because that's just, I don't know, it's like 5 hours away.
Definitely, if I'm ever...
I was thinking of going, but I don't know. It's... Camping's fun.
I've never been. I'm gonna try to. I'm at that point in my career where I gotta at least do like 1 or 2 tours of all the events just to get my network Rolodex full of all the people who I want to get a hold of. Like this recent trip to Philadelphia, I met Max Egan Talked to him for about a half an hour. I met Mark Pascal. Talked to him for about 20 minutes. A lot of really good people.
Mike Salvi? You know Mike Salvi?
No. Is that from Cop Block?
No, well, he might have done some cock block stuff, but he's a super funny guy.
No, I didn't get a chance to meet him, unfortunately. I did meet a lot of people though. John, I don't know. It's hard to name everybody I met, but they're good networking opportunities. You know what I mean? And every time you go out, you meet more people, and that's what it's really about to me at this point, is building up my network as much as possible so that we're all on the same page. And the more of us we have together, the more power we have. And that's another thing that I was talking about on the Anti-Media Radio, is that in our little alliance or our little collective, whatever you want to call this independent media, little market we have, we're starting to get some power. We're really starting to be able to push stories and push our own message out there, and enlightenment is coming, man. So I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to have met you. You're a great influence in my career. I definitely appreciate all that you're doing.
Oh man, thanks for letting me know.
No problem, brother. Thanks for joining me, man. I really appreciate having you on tonight. I'm gonna end the call, but we can stay on the call for a couple more minutes if you want.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, brother. Peace. I just ended the live.